might think that getting into the IT field is impossible without a computer science degree, but Tech Coach Ralph is here to prove you wrong. Get ready for some jaw-dropping revelations on how to break into this lucrative industry. Listen up, tech enthusiasts! Are you ready to break through into the IT field, but feel like you need a computer science degree to make it happen? Think again! Tech Coach Ralph has some exclusive, mind-blowing secrets to share with you. Get ready to be blown away by his jaw-dropping revelations on how to break into the tech industry without a computer science degree. So get your notepad ready, because Tech Coach Ralph is going to change your life forever. Buckle up, because you're about to embark on a journey to success in the IT field.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. Today is Monday, January 22nd, 2024. This is the Coffee and Kata Show. I am your host, Tech Coach Ralph, where we are engineered to win. So, in the Coffee and Kata Show, we are going to review a couple of news articles, and then we are going to get into our coding challenge like we always do. We are always trying to level up our skills to wake up our mind for the workday, so we can go out there and we can crush it. All right. So that is our goal. That is what we are going to be working on, as always. Okay. So let's before we jump into the news, we have the candid conversation coming out at noon today. It's going to be talking about why it is so damn hard to get into the tech industry. And we also have our live Q&A show tomorrow. So watch the premiere at noon today and tune in tomorrow night for the Q&A show. All right. So let's just jump right into it. Let me put the timer up. And we're gonna jump over to our news. Let me put this. All right, let's do it. So let's transition over. If you let me zoom in first. All right, let's transition over. And we are going to put our 5 minutes. And let's get to it. So the numbers. So I wanted to start with this, right? The numbers to watch this week. What should we be aware of? So growth in the world's largest economy will be in focus this week, as the Bureau of Economic Analysis reports its preliminary estimate of gross domestic product expansion during the fourth quarter. GDP growth likely slowed to annualized rate of 1.8 from a blistering 4.9% in the third quarter, according to an FX Street survey of analysis. Attention will also turn to inflation for the second time this month when the Commerce Department releases the personal consumption expenditures per index for December. The index is the Federal Reserve's favored gauge of consumer price growth. Upcoming releases that we should be looking forward to. And the reason I'm sharing this is because this is very important information and very important news that we should be tracking this to see metrics and numbers. Okay, so the U.S. Department of Labor will release initial jobless claims for the previous week. The report, a proxy for layoffs, tracks the number of people filing for unemployment benefits. Then we should also be looking for the U.S. Census Bureau will release its monthly report on durable goods orders, which measures manufacturing activity. Then next up, we have the Bureau of Economic Analysis will release a preliminary gross domestic product estimate for the fourth quarter. And lastly, on Thursday, January 25th, the U.S. Census Bureau will release key housing market indicators, including the number of new single-family homes sold in December. So we'll see how the home sales are going. I suspect they might be going down, but I am not in the real estate or economic field. And then Friday, January 26th, the U.S. Department of Commerce will release December's personal consumption expenditures price index. the Fed's preferred inflation measure. The report measures changes in the price of goods and services, excluding food and energy. So it excludes like our core necessities that have been rising like crazy, but it uses that report to measure changes in price of goods and services. So it really measures the on the non-essentials. So perfect. Okay, so let's jump over to our next article. So it says Altman eyes semiconductor factories. Sam Altman appears to be trying to get ahead of a pending semiconductor shortage. The OpenAI CEO hopes to develop a global network of semiconductor factories and has recently met with firms including G42 and SoftBank in a bid to raise tens of billions of dollars for the effort, Bloomberg reports, citing anonymous sources. Intel, Taiwan Semiconductor Conductor Manufacturing Co., and Samsung are said to be the potential chip manufacturing partners. The project highlights Altman's concern that a shortage of AI related chips toward the end of the decade could limit or delay the widespread adoption of artificial intelligence. Two Google, two of Google's DeepMind AI scientists are likely to depart the company and launch their own AI startup, Bloomberg said in a separate report. Also based on anonymous sources, the team has already held funding talks with potential investors for around $220 million. So, um, so it looks like OpenAI is looking into the semiconductor market, and somehow two of Google's DeepMind AI scientists made into the story that they are leaving Google to start their own startup. So yeah, that's that story. Let's transition to the next one. Sports Illustrated mass layoffs. Arena Group, the publisher of Sports Illustrated, notified the majority of the magazine staff Friday so the majority, Jesus Christ, the majority of the magazine staff Friday that they were being laid off, according to an email seen by Front Office Sports. The stunning development at the ooh, I almost had a sneeze there. Uh, okay, so the stunning development at the 70-year-old media brand comes after Arena breached its licensing agreement with Authentic Brands Group, missing a $3.75 million payment. Sports Illustrated's union, representing 80 employees, issued a statement in response to the memo calling on ABG to ensure the continued publication of SI. ABG, which bought SI from Meredith 5 years ago, um, has engaged in several rounds of layoffs as the magazine struggled to adapt to the internet age. And that's the funny thing about these unions, right? It's like there's absolutely no business or capitalist logic or mindset of like winning, and it's like okay, we we missed a $3.75 million payment, but you ensure continued publication. Well, if nobody's really buying Sports Illustrated, if nobody cares about the publication of Sports Illustrated anymore, if you guys are like sticking to print, sticking to print, sticking to print, and we're moving on to the internet age, what are we going to be doing with these employees? Like, why are we going to be publishing something that nobody buys? It's just like throwing money down a rabbit hole, or into a black hole. So I don't know. The logic sometimes of people just makes me wonder. But that's that story. Let's move on to the next one before we get into our coding challenge or our last one. It says Musk denies reports of XAI funding. Elon Musk has dismissed a Bloomberg report saying XAI has his artificial intelligence company secured $500 million in commitments from investors towards its $1 billion goal. This is simply not accurate, he said in a reply on X to users. The startup launched last year is eyeing a valuation of 15 billion to 20 billion, although that figure has reportedly not been finalized. A December filing with the Securities and Exchange Commission indicated that XAI had raised nearly 135 million from equity investors so far. The company name has developed a chatbot named Grok, which draws on posts from X the must-own social network, formerly known as Twitter, giving it real-time information from the platform. So that's a nice report. It's funny because they said 500 million, and he's like, "Oh, that's not accurate. Maybe it's 501 million. Maybe it's 499. Maybe it's 510. Who knows, right? Who knows?" But eventually, we shall find out. And before we head off of our news stories, just do a quick rundown of the other topics that were listed that we didn't get to. It says JetBlue Spirit appealed the ruling that they were denied for the merger. We had Chains want us back for midweek fun. Not even sure what that's talking about. Food marketing's watershed. I don't know. Macy rejects a $5.8 billion buyout. That's interesting. And apps are shutting Apple Visions Pro. I read this a little bit. So YouTube and Netflix are not going to be making apps for the Apple Vision Pro, at least as of now. But you can still use those applications if you just navigate to the web browser on the Apple Vision Pro. And film release lull stifles box office. I don't know if people are really going to the movies anymore. It might be time to pivot because you don't want to go the way of Sports Illustrated. So keep that in mind. All right. So those are our news stories for today. We are going to jump back into our coding challenge. We're going to go with, what time is it? Let's go with, let's go 20 minutes today, right? We'll go at 20 minutes. Keep it short today on this Monday. We have to, I have plenty of things to do. It was a crazy, crazy weekend for me. Yesterday I had like meetings all day. Yesterday we had a meeting at 8 o'clock, then played basketball at 10, and then came back and got ready for live streaming and editing video. I was working on this other video that I'm working for, another channel that I'm working on that I'm going to be refactoring. And so recording that video, had the live stream, and then had like two other meetings. One of those was our Scrum night for the coaching group, and then I had another meeting after that, and then I had to go pick up my dad from the bus station. So it was crazy, crazy yesterday, and I felt a little under the weather for Friday and Saturday, so things were a little backed up, and but we're here. We do not miss. All right, we don't miss. So, like they say,
We the best.
yes, we are. Okay, so let's get to it and put 20 minutes up on the clock, and let's get to it. So, where did we leave off? All right, so we've been doing the Chaos Camp OpenAI API testing challenge. So, and we've been doing that in Python with the use of the Behave library for working in behavior-driven development. So we've been getting familiar with the feature file, the steps file. So let's jump over to that. Let's get some coffee while we're here. I always call it the Coffee and Kata show, but I always forget to drink coffee. That's one thing that I need to work on. But I need to probably put some reminders like drink water, drink water, drink water. Because like when I'm live streaming and I just start going and going and going and forget to drink some water and it becomes a hot mess. So all right. Okay. So this is our feature file. Let me see if I can zoom in a little bit. Okay, cool. That's our feature file. If you're not too familiar with it, just check out the Behave website to get more information, or you can watch some of the previous morning shows where that was either on Monday or Wednesday where we are getting more into it. We have our scenario outline, and then we have the different parameters that we're passing in down here. Um, Part of the issue that we're going to have to go back and fix is that in our steps file, right? the right now we're doing a like just equals, right? But the thing is, when it's coming from OpenAI, it can answer in a variety of ways. So and we can't really control how it's going to answer. Like in the prompt, like I say, just give me a short answer, right? But there's no guarantee like that it's going to answer the exact way that we want it to answer because sometimes it passes, sometimes it fails. So what I want to do eventually, like after we finish writing out the test, right, and we see the ones that are failing, which is probably going to be why they're failing. We want to implement some type of maybe some type of natural language processing, some NPL, to be able to maybe I can use LangChain. I'm still looking into that, right? But maybe something like that, and that we can have it see is the answer in the right vicinity if it's close enough, instead of giving that exact match that we can't really confirm, right? So that's something that we're definitely going to look into. But let's look at what we have next up on the docket for the challenge. So let's go over to this screen. And it says, zoom in a bit. Close this. No. Okay. Um, so we did this. We did the diverse inputs, long conversations. All right, so let's do that one. Let's do long conversations. So design a test that simulates a prolonged interaction with AI, ensuring it maintains context over a series of related prompts. Right, and this is part of the reason that we need the natural language processing because it's going like there's no way to do a exact assertion on the response that we're going to be getting, because AI it it writes pretty well too. Like if you are part of the Patreon and you're able to tune into the live stream where I was updating my resume, and I use a little bit of AI to clean up the wording and stuff. Um, it's actually really really cool how I did it to come out with a very nice resume. But if you were able to see that, like how I'm using AI and the way that it works, like there's no way that you like, there's no way that you rarely get the same response back to back. So to try to get a hard assertion, that's going to be very unlikely, right? So we can start. What we can do is start building off the conversations, and then we can circle back to finding a way to assert it. So that way we're not blocked, right? We can continue working, and then we can do most of the startup work, and then we circle back to say, okay, here is how I need to validate this, right? So that's the plan that we're going to be going with. Okay. So we're designing a test that simulates a prolonged interaction with AI, ensuring the AI maintains context over a series of related prompts. So we'll do that today, or we'll start on this today. And then once we finish with this, probably either on Wednesday, then we'll go into the response time to figure that out. Okay. With that being said, let's jump over back to the other screen. And I'm going to create a new feature file. And we're going to call this long conversations. Conversations dot feature. Add that. And we can say so feature, and we'll call say simulates a prolonged interaction with AI. So the scenario is All right. So this scenario is going to be send, communicate with the feel like the sneeze is coming and then it goes away. Then it's coming again and then it goes away. So please bear with me. All right. So communicate back and forth with OpenAI to maintain content. All right. So we shall, so let's look at how we start off our other test. That's not it. So, all right. So we're gonna have to use a slightly different strategy than the examples because inside of this, we're gonna need a table to go back and forth with AI on the conversation. Okay. So, and we'll look it up to see exactly how we're gonna do that. I've seen it done, but I never really did it to remember how to do it. But like I said, we don't need to remember much. We need to focus in on the concepts, and then we can easily find out what we need to do. I know a lot of like interviews and stuff like that. They want you to just be able to memorize a bunch of stuff, a bunch of code, and but I I at least am more on knowing how to figure it out and getting it done that way instead of just memorizing a bunch of stuff that it's just way too much stuff that you have to memorize. So that's why I don't really focus on memorization, especially with the so many tools giving you that code complete, you know? But anyways, that's not what's important right now. So let's say we say, so we can start off with, and you don't have to do like you don't have to use the given or the when. Like it's just it needs to match what you have in your steps file. So let's start off with when, right? When I send a series of prompts to the OpenAI API, uh, then each then the context of the conversation should remain. So let's start off with that, right? That's basically what we want to happen. How are we going to get it to happen? We're not entirely sure yet, but we can start off a conversation. I don't know what is a conversation that we would have with what is a conversation that we would have with like Chat GPT, right? So let's think about it. Let's say we do. I'm just gonna list them out over here, right? Let's just list them out. Let's start the conversation. So, because I do this all the time, right? But I'm just thinking of a good example. So let's say let me pull up ChatGPT to see an example because they give you like examples starting off stuff. So all right, let's do so they're giving me a suggestion of like suggest like something you can ask is suggest fun activities, right? So let's say we'll start off with need some cool ideas to do with my child, right? and then based on the response that they give, we would say, my child is a boy. And then based on those suggestions, we'll say, it needs to be activities for a toddler. And then it's currently cold outside, so we should say, um, it can you suggest one that is indoors? And anything else? All right, and it should not cost too much, right? So there goes our series, our conversation that we're going to be having with OpenAI's ChatGPT, right? And then somehow we're gonna have to validate that it stays in context. What I'm gonna do, I'm going to pull up at least how to use the table in Behave, right? Let's see. So it's called a. Let me see. So I think we're looking for the setup table, but I'm not 100% familiar with it yet. So we're gonna find out together. Acorns. If you don't have Acorns yet, I would highly suggest you sign up for Acorns. I have a link in the description to it, where it takes like the thought process out of investing. It You choose your investment risk, right? So let's say you're older, you might want to be a little bit more conservative, but if you're younger, if you're very young, you definitely want to sign it up, and you put it for like pretty much the most aggressive, and you just let it go, right? Like I have never taken any money out of it, and it's just been growing. Like I've had it since like 2008. Started off with like putting in $5, and now it's almost at like 20K. And I you just let it go. You just like and the way that it works is it pretty much invests your loose change. You can set up a schedule on it, but it pretty much invests your loose change. Like you make a transaction at a store for like let's say $20.51, right? It's going to take that the rest of that 49 cents to round it up to $22, and it's going to invest that into like your account with them. And it invests in different stocks and stuff like that. Mainly like ETFs, not individual stocks, but for me it's been working amazing. And I mean that's just one strategy amongst others, but I would highly recommend that you sign up for that. I have a link in the description. And once you if you s- like when you sign up, you get they invest $5 for you as well, to show you how to get started and stuff. So I definitely would recommend you check out my Acorns link in the description. All right, so let's keep going with this, okay? All right. So let's see. A step can have a text and data table associated with it. We can add a data table with a step. It is recommended to have a data table indented, and it is mandatory to have an equal column number for each line. Okay, equal column. Okay. The table is accessible. Okay. Let's see. I'm just trying to make sure I understand what it's doing. Because if it's going one by one, I don't, hmm. The sneeze finally came out. Thank God. All right, cool. The second one came out as well. Right, so we're gonna try this. I'm not sure if this is the actual right way, but let's find out together, right? This is how we learn, okay? So we are gonna say okay, now we're on a sneeze fest. All right, so we're gonna try this out. I'm gonna go here, and I'm gonna say prompt. All right, prompt, and we're gonna go with here, and we're gonna say we're just gonna copy. I can zoom in a little bit. Yep, so I can just actually let's just replace. Go like that. Go like that. All right. So now we have our prompts in place. Now our prompts in place, and we are going to. So now we have to implement the code on like looping through it. Okay, so we are going to go to our. So let's create a new file, and we're going to call this one. I'll probably have to rename this task accuracy one because these steps are kind of shared. But for code that's not shared, we will like we're gonna say
Lunch break, lunch break.
so we'll call this conversation table dot um call that conversation table. So let's get started with this and then we'll head off for the day, right? So all right, so it looks like we need two separate pieces of code, right? So we need the Python code to access the table, and then we're going to need the implementation file. So let's start off with this. So let's do this part, and then we will wrap it up for today. And then when we come back on Wednesday, we will take on the step implementation file to see if this is going to work. I have absolutely no idea if it's going to work, but we shall find out, right? So this is what we're going to be writing. We're going to be writing this code right now, this part, and then when we come back on Wednesday, we're going to do this part to see that if it's actually working the way that we want it to work, or if it was just a waste of time. Well, it's definitely not going to be a waste of time, right? But it might not be the right route in this particular situation, but we will be learning something, right? So let's go to, I don't know why they called it that, but we can change it as we go on and get more context. I think that means for department, maybe. Let's call that prompt. And this is going to be dev init, and this is gonna be prompt. What is this ms? I wish I had a better explanation of what each thing was, but it's all good. Okay, and now we're gonna say if not ms, self dot prompt, prompt, self dot ms equals ms. And after writing this code, I'm gonna like try to break it down a little bit more to see what exactly it's doing. 'Cause, like, a lot of times they give you the code and we just copy the code, but we should have a better understanding of what we are actually doing with it. So I think what I'm seeing here though is that uh, I don't know. Is this a typo here? I don't know. We'll have to test it out, and then once we like after we do it, we can have a better understanding of what's going on. Prompt is not in self dot mess. No, is in self dot ms dot append prompt, and then class L model object init, and then self dot prompts equals, and oops, where'd that F come from? I don't know where that. I think that might be a typo. And then we have, so there's no passwords here. And then new function. Prompt addition. And we're going to say, I need to figure out why we're writing this code because it doesn't make sense to me. But you know what? I think I used the wrong website using tutorials point. But let's finish it off and then we'll refactor it. We'll redo it on Wednesday if we have to. I should have went straight to the Behave site to read their documentation about it, but whatever. Prompt not in self dot prompts. This might actually end up working. Who knows? And yeah, we shall. I don't know. Let me just take a quick look over here because this might have been a waste of time. Let's say go over here. Let's see, behave docs. And that's what I was looking for. See, yeah, this is what I was really looking for. So I'm gonna just delete all this code because it was a waste of time, and we'll go to this one on We'll do that on Wednesday. We'll set this here, like all that code. And that's why you have to have the right documentation, right? But this is what we're actually looking for. So we're going to be implementing this on Wednesday and see what happens. All right. So let's go back to full screen. And this is like this is why we do this in the morning so that we can wake up our mind. And as we were finishing up writing that code, like this doesn't really make any sense. Why are we doing this? And we questioned it and said, okay, let's pause on that and let's go find the right documentation. And now we see that it's actually took like 4 lines to figure it out. So anyways, that is our show for this morning. Hopefully that I hope that you enjoyed it and that you found it helpful and it helped you wake up, or maybe you're on your way to work and it was able to keep you company, whatever the case may be. But I'm going to be getting out of here, going to get ready for the day. And yeah, so hopefully you have a great day. Remember, check out the Candid Conversation coming out at noon. And then we have our Q&A tomorrow night. So looking forward to see you there as well. And yeah, that's about it. So you guys have a wonderful Monday. Have a happy new week. And on that note, oh, by the way, if you haven't done so yet, subscribe to the channel. Hit the notification bell so you can know when we go live. Like the video, share the video, leave me a comment. Check out the Patreon at www.techcoachralph.dev and find other ways to connect with me at connect.techcoachralph.dev. All right. And on that note, this is Tech Coach Ralph signing off in the morning. We are out.
You might think that getting into the IT field is impossible without a computer science degree, but Tech Coach Ralph is here to prove you wrong. Get ready for some jaw-dropping revelations on how to break into this lucrative industry. Listen up, tech enthusiasts! Are you ready to break through into the IT field, but feel like you need a computer science degree to make it happen? Think again! Tech Coach Ralph has some exclusive, mind-blowing secrets to share with you. Get ready to be blown away by his jaw-dropping revelations on how to break into the tech industry without a computer science degree. So get your notepad ready, because Tech Coach Ralph is going to change your life forever. Buckle up, because you're about to embark on a journey to success in the IT field.